Picture this. You return home after a 3-year journey to find your entire community has vanished. No bodies, no signs of struggle, nothing but empty houses and a single word carved into a wooden post. Croatoan. This isn't the plot of a horror movie. This is the true story of America's first English colony, and it's a mystery that has haunted historians for over 400 years. Today we're diving deep into the Lost Colony of Roanoke, where 115 men, women and children disappeared without a trace. Welcome to Nightmare Narratives, where true history bleeds into horror and the strangest legends might just be real. If you like the eerie, the unexplained, and the downright disturbing, hit like and don't forget to subscribe. Some stories are too dark to forget. Let's set the stage. It's 1587, and England is desperate to establish a foothold in the New World. The Spanish have their colonies, and Queen Elizabeth I wants her piece of the American pie. Enter Sir Walter Raleigh, who had already tried, and failed, to establish a colony on Roanoke Island in what's now North Carolina. But Raleigh wasn't giving up. He organised a second expedition, this time with families, not just soldiers and fortune seekers. The plan was simple: create a permanent English settlement that could support itself and serve as a base for privateering against Spanish ships. On July 22nd, 1587, 3 ships carrying 115 colonists arrived at Roanoke Island. Among them was John White, the colony's governor, along with his pregnant daughter Eleanor and her husband Ananias Dare. This detail becomes crucial to our story. The colonists immediately got to work building homes, planting crops, and establishing relationships with the local Croatoan tribe. Yes, that name should sound familiar. Things seemed promising at first. Eleanor gave birth to Virginia Dare, the first English child born in the Americas. The future looked bright, but then reality hit. By late August, supplies were running dangerously low. The colonists faced a harsh truth. Without immediate help from England, they might not survive the winter. They made a desperate decision. John White would return to England to secure supplies and reinforcements. Imagine being John White, forced to leave behind not just your community, but your daughter and newborn granddaughter. Before departing, White made an agreement with the colonists. If they had to leave Roanoke Island, they would carve their destination into a tree or post. If they were in distress, they would include a Maltese cross as a signal. White sailed away on August 27th, 1587, expecting to return within months. He had no idea he wouldn't see Roanoke Island again for 3 long years. Why the delay? England was preparing for war with Spain. The Spanish Armada was threatening invasion, and every available ship was needed for defence. White's supply mission was postponed indefinitely. When he finally managed to secure passage back to America, storms and privateering delays kept pushing back his return. 3 years. 3 years of wondering, worrying, and imagining the worst. On August 18th, 1590, John White finally returned to Roanoke Island. What he found would become one of history's greatest mysteries. The settlement was completely deserted. Houses had been dismantled in an orderly fashion, not destroyed by violence or weather, but carefully taken apart. Personal belongings were scattered, but there were no signs of a struggle, no bodies, no graves. It was as if 115 people had simply vanished. Then White found it, carved into a wooden post at the entrance of the settlement. Croatoan. On a nearby tree, he discovered CRO carved into the bark. There was no Maltese cross, which meant the colonists hadn't left under duress. According to their agreement, this should have been good news. The colonists had apparently gone to Croatoan Island, about 50 miles south, where the friendly Croatoan tribe lived. White was relieved and immediately prepared to sail there. But fate had other plans. A violent storm hit, damaging White's ships and forcing them out to sea. When they tried to return, dangerous weather and dwindling supplies forced them to abandon the search and return to England. John White never saw his daughter, granddaughter, or any of the colonists again. So what clues did the lost colony leave behind? Let's examine the evidence like detectives. First, the word Croatoan. This wasn't random. The Croatoan people were allies of the English, led by Chief Manteo, who had actually travelled to England and returned with the colonists. If they were going anywhere, Croatoan Island made perfect sense. Second, the organised dismantling. The houses weren't destroyed by attack or a natural disaster. They were methodically taken apart, suggesting the colonists had time to plan their departure and possibly took building materials with them. Third, buried belongings. White mentioned finding some of his personal belongings buried in a specific location, suggesting the colonists intended to return or wanted to preserve important items. Fourth, no bodies or graves. In an era when death was common, especially in new settlements, the complete absence of any human remains is striking. This suggests the colonists either successfully relocated or something else entirely happened to them. Over the centuries, historians, archaeologists, and amateur sleuths have proposed dozens of theories. Let's explore the most compelling ones. Theory 1. Assimilation with native tribes. The most widely accepted theory is that the colonists joined the Croatoan tribe or other friendly Native American groups. Evidence supporting this includes oral traditions among the Lumbee people of North Carolina, who claim descent from the Lost Colony reports from later explorers of Native Americans with European features and grey eyes, archaeological evidence of European artifacts found in Native American sites. Theory 2. The Dare Stones. In the 1930s, a series of stone tablets were discovered, allegedly carved by Eleanor Dare, describing the colonists' fate. Most historians consider these elaborate hoaxes, but they sparked decades of investigation and debate. Theory 3. Relocation to Chesapeake Bay. Some evidence suggests the colonists moved north to the Chesapeake Bay area, as originally planned. Early Jamestown settlers reported hearing rumours of English people living among native tribes in that region. Theory 4. Spanish attack. Spain considered English settlements a threat to their empire. Some theorists believe Spanish forces discovered and destroyed the colony, taking survivors as prisoners or slaves. Theory 5. The supernatural. Of course, no mystery. This enduring is complete without supernatural theories. Some propose alien abduction. Seriously, people suggest this. Time travel or dimensional portals. Cursed land that consumed the colonists. Supernatural punishment for intruding on sacred Native American territory. While these theories make for great campfire stories, they lack any credible evidence. The mystery hasn't been forgotten. Modern archaeologists continue searching for answers using advanced technology. Recent archaeological expeditions have used satellite imagery, ground-penetrating radar, and DNA analysis to search for clues. In 2020, archaeologists announced they'd found evidence of European settlement on Roanoke Island dating to the right time period, including pottery and other artifacts. Genetic studies of modern populations in the region have found potential links to European ancestry that could trace back to the Lost Colony, particularly among the Lumbee people. Some researchers are even exploring underwater sites, theorizing that evidence might have been lost to rising sea levels or erosion over the centuries. So what really happened to the Lost Colony of Roanoke? After more than 400 years, we still don't have a definitive answer, and that might be okay. The most likely explanation remains that the colonists successfully integrated with friendly Native American tribes, possibly the Croatoan people, and their descendants lived on in the region. The lack of dramatic evidence, no mass graves, no signs of violence, suggests their fate was probably mundane rather than mysterious. But here's what makes the Lost Colony so compelling. It represents the ultimate unknown. In our age of satellites and social media, where it seems impossible for anyone to truly disappear, the Lost Colony reminds us that history still holds secrets. The story also highlights the complex relationships between European colonists and Native American tribes, the incredible challenges of early American settlement, and the human cost of exploration and expansion. The Lost Colony of Roanoke remains America's oldest unsolved mystery, and maybe that's fitting for a nation built on the idea that anything is possible, including vanishing without a trace. What do you think happened to the 115 colonists? Do you believe they assimilated with native tribes, fell victim to Spanish forces, or met some other fate? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed diving into this historical mystery, make sure to subscribe for more unsolved cases from America's past. And remember, sometimes the best stories are the ones without endings.